Hello and welcome to a new episode of Airport CEO here on the channel. Now, before we get any further into today's episode, if you should end up enjoying this video, then why not leave a like? And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. Alright, so in the last few episodes we have been looking at the operations of the airport mainly and seeing that everything works as intended, and luckily most of it has actually done so. We do still on occasion have the messages that we have staff shortages, but we are doing what we can to fix this. And ultimately, I think one issue perhaps could also be that sometimes the game basically responds immediately if a worker is still working towards his task. So he's basically already taken on the task, but is still on its way to fulfill it. The game might already register that as there's a task that is not being fulfilled. But in any case, most of the things at the airport do seem to work just as we have intended. So I think in this episode we will again go back to what we have been doing for the most time throughout the season, and that is actually constructing the airport, because at some point we do of course also want to complete Geneva Airport. So what should we take on as our first task here today? Let's see. Now, even though our Terminal 1 definitely is not the biggest part of our airport and only serves 3 stands, it does seem to be quite frequently used by, well, I mean, obviously we add flights to the flight schedule, but still it does seem to be rather popular with passengers. When we look here at the security check, that's almost overrun in a way. So definitely much more higher frequency than I would have expected. So we will extend this building a little bit. Luckily, we do still have space to just extend the building enough to add one more security check here, because clearly this is, well, a situation that we need to resolve, because I mean the passengers are not just taking up the entire queue we have built here, but I mean they're basically waiting all the way to the outside of the building. So that's definitely too much, so we will fix this by adding another security check. But of course this is not the main task of today, because that will be over at Terminal 2. So there are a couple of things that I want to do here over at Terminal 2 so that we, I mean, I don't know if we will complete Terminal 2 today, but at least get the main things done that are still missing. And one thing I have talked about a few episodes ago was that in Terminal 2 in Geneva Airport you have a food court. Actually you have a food court outside the security area, so on land side, and you also have a food court on air side, so within the security area. I'm not quite sure if we will have space for a food court on the land side part of the terminal, but definitely on the air side part. So that's one thing I would like to construct. Now obviously the food court in Geneva Airport is actually quite impressive considering the size of the airport, and we won't be able to build it just as big, but I think we will have space for 2 decently sized restaurants. And I mean, given how many passengers are running around in this area, I would assume that there should be a sufficient amount of passengers or customers, potential customers for these restaurants, so that they can operate sufficiently. So some episodes ago we constructed the lounges here at the airport, and in Terminal 2 there's basically one area where most, if not all, lounges in Geneva Airport in real life are situated around. But obviously this is a game. So of course we try to replicate the airport as close as possible to real life, but it is a game and there are some things that we of course need to just take care of here so that it also works as a game. And in some cases, of course, we do make a few compromises, and also, yeah, you know, there is some creative freedom with all this building here, all this construction here. And what I was thinking is, I mean, obviously we have a larger lounge around the other lounges, which we want to assign to Swiss International Airlines, now that we, in the last episode, signed this airline at the airport. And that is basically the home carrier, other than EasyJet Switzerland, which has its home base at Geneva Airport in real life. But I think there would be sufficient space here to build another lounge. And I want to build this on top of this little extension of the terminal where we have the remote stand gates. Because we have the space here. Here we actually, for once, have some space, so we can build a rather large lounge. And as I say, I would like to assign that to Swiss International Airlines, because I do expect that we will have quite a few flights from that airline here from the airport. And since we are working on lounges, as I mentioned, there was one lounge that we built some episodes ago, but didn't assign to any airline because I wanted to assign this one to Swiss International Airlines. Now, at the time, we didn't have this airline at the airport, but now we do. So, of course, we should and want to assign it now to Swiss International Airlines. And now that we are assigning lounges, we do also have one more lounge over at the East Wing, which we actually also haven't assigned yet. And by now we also have signed Etihad Airways, which I think we can expect quite a few flights leaving from the East Wing. So I think that would make sense to sign them here. And underneath these lounges, we have some empty space in this building, and I had always thought this could be a nice place to have the airport's administration placed. Now, there's a nice thing about the game, because when you build staff rooms, you can actually assign the staff room to specific types of staff. So as a standard, it is basically open for any type of staff, but you can change this and say, for example, this staff room should only be available for ramp agents or for your CEO. So we can actually build like specific offices for our management of the airport, and I think this could be a nice place to do just that. And it will also allow us to be a little bit more creative with these staff rooms, because I mean the staff rooms we have across the airport do kind of look like the same. I mean we have some desks, and we have some sofas, and that's pretty much it. So here we can maybe do it a little bit different. Alright, so while we are putting the last finishing touches upon our staff rooms here, our new airport administration building, there is one part of the airport that we haven't really worked on at all so far, and that is of course the French sector, which I don't know yet if I will make a part of Terminal 2 or as in the game it's kind of required to be sure that you zone in things correctly, and it might be easier if I zone it in as a separate terminal, but in any case that is something I would like to start working on in the next episode. Now I don't really know how many more episodes there will be. I mean, we still have the French sector and that will take a bit of time, but once we've done that I think we will actually be close to having completed at least the majority of construction needed at the airport to kind of reach the goal of replicating Geneva Airport. There are a few other things we could do. I'm not sure if you are interested in that. I will ask you at the time to see if we should then end the season or still do a few more things here and there. But yeah, we are definitely coming into the final stretches of the season now, and as I say, next episode we will start working on the French sector part of Terminal 2, which will be quite interesting how we figure out how to do that, because yeah, I still haven't really figured out how I want to do that. But in any case, I hope you look forward to it as much as I do to see what we can come up with there. Now with that, I think it is time to end this episode. So if you have enjoyed this video, then why not leave a like? That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.